Hi, everybody. It is me, Leo Brown, and I am back on here once again to do another edition of Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I hope all of you are having a wonderful, wonderful day thus far, a great Tuesday. And I thank you all for watching, for sharing, for subscribing, and even for commenting. I do read the comments, so if you have something to say to me or you have something to say on the subject that we're going to discuss, feel free to leave your comments below. So today we're going to talk about Flame Monroe and the GLBTQIA community. Okay, so first of all, I'm a part of the GLBTQIA community. Let's get that out of the way. If you've been following me for a minute, you know that I'm gay. I'm very proud of it. I don't make any qualms about it. I love being a gay man. This is who I've always been, and probably who I always will be, even though I do believe that you can grow beyond your sexual preference. So now, the reason why I want to talk about Flame Monroe is because first of all, um, I've followed Flame Monroe way before we became well known. Thanks to Tiffany Haddish, and shout out to Tiffany Haddish for even showcasing her, showcasing him, showcasing who we is, and giving this person a platform. I think that's awesome. But I've followed Flame since the '90s, since I want to say '95, because the first time I saw Flame was Comic View, I believe, and he and Cheryl Underwood got into it. And I'm gonna go back and forth with he and she a lot because even he and even she doesn't mind that we use different pronouns. He, she, we could care less. She said it numerous times in interviews. So I'm gonna go back and forth a lot. So just be prepared. Um, but I followed her for a minute, and a lot of people have said that she is problematic. He, she, we is problematic. Personally, and this is just my personal opinion, you are more than welcome to disagree with me, and you're more than welcome to agree with me. Personally, I don't think that what she has said, he has said, is problematic at all. I think that what's going on is that we live in a world now where we don't want to hear the truth. I'm just gonna be real. We don't. We often think that if you telling the truth or you giving your opinion, and it's not an opinion that everybody else agrees with, you hating. You know what I mean? Oh, you hating on them. Or, that's not true. Or da 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 da. Okay, fine. Listen, he was right when he said, with our community, with the GLBTQIA community, LMNOP, PSD community, um, we want acceptance. We want a seat at the table so bad. And I think that is true. And I think that's valid. I mean, first of all, gay people have been around, people in the GLBT community have been around since the beginning of time. We're not going anywhere. Let's get that straight. But I do agree when he said that you can't force people to understand your walk of life because they don't walk in your shoes. And that's true. And even with me, I'm going to be really, really transparent here. There are things about the transgender community that for me, though I support my sisters and brothers, I support my trans men, trans women, I support my non-binary. I actually have a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine who identifies as non-binary. And he gave me an education on it because I didn't know what non-binary meant. And it basically means that you don't fit into the norms of what femininity and masculinity are. So I understood that. That makes sense to me, because there are some people that don't fit. I felt like that at one point where I didn't fit, where I wasn't masculine enough, or even in some cases feminine enough, you know. And really, in reality, let's look at that for just a second. When you look into that, that's basically hyper masculinity and hyper femininity. And no person regardless of orientation, is all the way hyper feminine or all the way hyper masculine. We all have different shades of gray and different colors of our rainbow within us. So, that I think that needs to we need to cancel that. But people have been saying that Flame, Miss Monroe, Mr. Monroe, Mr. Parker, Miss Parker is problematic. I don't think so. I think she's coming from her point of view. I think she's coming and she's saying her truth. And you got to understand too, she's in her 50s. She's been around the block and the world and I. Okay? And the thing of it is, she knows who she is. She knows what's real and what's not. And I think we live in a world now where we want to, it's almost like we want to live in a world of pure imagination and we don't want to tell the truth. And if we do, oh, well, you're transphobic, or oh, you're shaming, or oh, this. And it's like, no, let's tell the truth. Now, you can identify, and this is me speaking now, okay? This is not about Mr. and Mrs. Monroe at all. First of all, you can identify the way you want to. You're more than, listen, I have transgender friends, okay? If my transgender friend says to me, listen, I identify as a woman or I identify as a man, okay, fine. I'm going to identify you the way you want to be identified. I'm going to respect that. I'm not going to be out here and calling you a he when you see yourself as a she, when you identify as a woman. And vice versa, if you identify as a man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that because that's disrespectful. And I firmly believe that trans rights are human rights. Who doesn't want the right to use the bathroom? Who doesn't want the right to adopt a child if they choose to? Who doesn't want the right to have access to health care? Who doesn't want the right to get married to the person they love? Let's just be real. Those are human rights, just like gay marriage, just like gay rights. Gay rights are human rights. So let's get that out of the way. But my attitude is this right here. Okay, so I am for, before people come for me, oh, you trans. No, I'm not transphobic at all. Like I said in my last video, phobia is a fear. I don't fear transgender people. I don't fear non-binary people at all. I love them. I honor them. I respect them. But when it comes to nature, when it comes to basic science, we're not going to sit up here and tamper with that. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I know that women, some women, not all, but some women don't get periods. Some women, some women's reproductive cycles are different than maybe another woman. I understand that. But let's be honest. When you go to the doctor, and if you are a transgendered man, now this is me saying if you're a transgender man, and you go to the doctor and you haven't had a bottom procedure done, they're going to look at you biologically, maybe not gender-wise, and maybe not in terms of I don't want to say orientation, but because like I said, I'm still learning. I'm learning now. So forgive me in this, but they're going to look at you biologically as a person who has female organs. You may not identify as female, but they're going to see you as a person that has female organs. So, and it's the same thing with transgender women. When you go into the doctor and you go, and especially if you kept your bottom, if you kept your I don't want to be crass, but I was about to say something else. If you keep what you were born with, okay, they're going to see you, even though, yes, you are transitioning into a woman, they're going to see you as a person who's transitioning. You may not identify as a man, but when it comes down to science, when it comes down to just simple biology, they're going to see it as male. And yes, because I can hear it now, gender's a male. I understand that. Okay, I get it. But the thing of it is this: we have to come to a point as gay people, as trans, as lesbians, as bisexuals, as questioning, because that's what Q actually stands for in the beginning, as genderqueer, as androgynous, as intersex, we have to tell the truth. Because let's be real, and this is why I don't understand why Flame is problematic to some of y'all, because Flame is telling the truth here. You can do all the injections, you can do the surgeries, you can do whatever you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you are a man who's transitioning into becoming a woman, or into what you feel your idea of what a woman is, because not every woman is fish, not every woman is glamorous, not every woman um, is thin waist, big ass. Not every woman has big boobs. Not every woman has boobs. Like, and or vice versa. If you're a woman transitioning into a man, that's why you're called transgender, because you're transitioning from one gender to another. Okay? That doesn't mean that we don't want you, because we do. But let's call it out now. There are some transgender people, and I've met them, that don't like gay people. I've met quite a few transgender women and men that are like, I don't like gay people, they get on my nerves. Okay, but you don't like who you used to be. But yet, let something come around. Let something happen to one of your brothers and sisters in your community, in trans community. Who do you call upon to help you organize your cabarets and your benefits and to help you raise money? You call upon people like me. You call upon the gay men, the men you don't like. You call upon the lesbians. And it's sad, because I feel like, yes, let's be real. We are in this together, but we are also different. And the one thing that we need to do in the gay community is we need to stop thinking we're one big happy family. We are not. We're dysfunctional as shit. And that's because, and I don't blame this all on straight people, but that is partly because a lot of us come from environments where we are thrown out, thrown away, or we feel like that. And what do we do when we come out? We expect it to be just one big happy family. And I'm saying this from my own experience. You think, oh, it's gonna be awesome. Me and the gay community is gonna be, because believe me, I came out I was 16. I'm 38 now. And when I was 16, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna just love being in the gay community. Not being gay, that's not what I'm saying, because I love being gay. That's never gonna change. But my experiences, and let me also say this, not everybody in the gay community is a survivalist. Not everybody in the gay community has post-traumatic stress syndrome. Like, let's just, or disorder. Let me make that clear, because that's not true. But what I found and what I continue to find is we can be the most sneaky, backstabbing, some of us, not all. Some of us can be the most sneaky, backstabbing, underhanded people. But let's be honest, that's in every community. That's in Black people, that's in the Black community, that's in Latino, that's in every community you look into. That's in the heterosexual community too. And the one thing that really irks my spirit is, oh, it's all about sex. Sex, 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 sex. Okay, have you heard of Tinder? Have you heard of Match.com? Christian Mingle? In the words of T.S. Madison, have you heard of those things? Have you heard of, I'm trying to think of something else, eHarmony? You know what I mean? What we need to understand is that we're people at the end of the day. And people, whether we like it or not, are sexual. The only thing is, here's the thing. We basically are following, and I kind of equate it to, in my mind, like when people say, oh, all gay men want is sex. That's not true. A lot of gay men want to date. A lot of gay men want to get married. A lot of gay men want to have children. You know what I mean? I was once one. I wanted to get married and have kids. I still want to get married. Kids, not so much, but I do hope to get married someday. But if I don't, I'm okay with that. So my thing is, what we need to understand and what we need to accept and embrace in us as people, as a community. If we want to be together, we got to embrace that we're different, and we have to embrace that we're sexual beings, regardless of how or who we choose to identify as. We're all people that want to be accepted and loved and embraced, and we all have needs. It may not always be sexual, but it may be emotional, it may be mental, it may be, you know, it may be physical. You never know. We all have needs. So I don't understand why that gets a bad rap. And people, well, you know, you don't see. It's like, no, you don't see the heterosexuals. It's like, yes, you do. Have you ever watched The Real World? Have you ever watched? Remember back in the '90s when the grind was on? Remember the spring break? Look at, like, what's the shows? Jersey Shore. Look at what's that, the name of the show? Florida Bama or something like that. Look at that. Those are a bunch of people who identify as heterosexual, and all they're doing is fucking. So, and fighting. So that happens in every community. So that whole kumbaya, we all need to get along. No, that's not going to happen. And one thing I have to say, I have to say this too. There's nothing wrong with trying to include everybody, but let's be real. Inclusiveness works in theory. Inclusiveness is good on paper. But I'm telling you, because I've seen it in every circle I've been in, whether it be gay, whether it be the spiritual community, whether it be Black, whether it be disabled community, it doesn't matter. Inclusiveness works in theory, but you cannot do it in practice, because you're going to always have somebody that's going to be offended because they're going to feel, well, I'm not, or this group, fill in the blank, is not represented. And here's the thing. You know, with Malik Yoba, Carmen Carrera. Okay, first of all, Malik Yoba, because I got to talk about that too, because it was a part of the whole GLBT discussion too. You're a trans attracted man. No, man. No, 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 no. I disagree with that. No, you like men who have transitioned to women. Okay? And that's okay. But just call it what it is. Because let's be real, they weren't born like that. Now, they may identify that way, and that's fine. But you weren't born that way. Okay? You, Carmen Carrera, your name was Chris when you were on RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's just keep it above. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with you being transgender. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Non-binary, none of that. Like, I think people often think that when you tell the truth, that when you call something for what it is, that you're being hateful or spiteful. You're not. You're telling the truth. And that's why I don't understand why Flame Monroe got the hate or continues to get the hate that she gets. That doesn't make any sense. She's being honest. You can't help the fact that you were born a man and you made the decision, the conscious decision, to transition to a woman, or just like Chaz Bono, you were born a woman, you identified as a lesbian, and then eventually you transition to become a man. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't sit up here and piss on our shoes and tell us it's rain. Oh, I've always been a man. No, 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 no. You might have always identified as a man and felt that way, and that's fine. Okay? And that's okay. But you were not born, and when I say born, I mean physically. You were not born that way. Okay? Identification and what you're given by the creator and creatress are two different things. It's just like the whole sex and gender thing. Sex and gender are two different things. I know that. You know what I mean? So before people come and educate me, I know that. I know that sex and gender are different. But what I'm saying is we have to be okay with telling the truth. We have, and I also feel like in the gay community, and not just gay, but in the whole GLBT rainbow, we have to say, listen, some of us don't like each other. Some Black gays don't like white gays. Some let's talk about fetishism and how we fetishize people of color, how we fetishize fat people, how we fetishize hairy people. Okay, there's a reason we have chubs and bears and BBCs And you have terms like bean queen and rice queen and things like that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how in the gay community, there is racism, there is sexism, there is misogyny. Because how are we going to heal our wounds if we don't openly discuss them and talk about the fact that, yeah, there are things I don't even know you, but based on your race, I don't like you. Okay? And this goes for the white men that don't like black men and the black men that don't like black men either. That's a whole nother video. But but yet you disguise it as a preference. So it's a preference to you. That's a preference. No, baby, that's racism. Okay? That's racism, plain and simple. But let's talk about that. Let's discuss that. Let's talk about how basically we're emulating the community that we're trying to get away from. And really, in reality, what's really going on is that we're no different than the straight people that we claim to hate, or claim to hate us. We're no different than them. Let's talk about how we discriminate against people that have HIV or people that are disabled. I know this from personal experience. Now, by being a disabled gay man, I've had many men tell me, well, you're cute, you're a good looking dude, but I'm worried that I may hurt you, or I don't know if you can get around. I've had guys tell me they were embarrassed to see me because of my disability. I've had that happen many times. Or I've had men be with me just because I was a black person, or just because I was thicker around the waist. Not for me and my personality, but because, oh, well, you're a little thickums. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with you liking a thicker person or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But like that person, not just their body. You know what I mean? Like what comes along with what you're getting. That's my point that I'm trying to make. So my thing is, I don't know why we seem to think that we're so separate when really we're a lot alike. And I understand why some in the trans community separate themselves from it because they don't feel like they belong in it anymore. They're like, well, I transition. I'm a woman now. I'm a man now. I don't identify with gay men or gay women. I can kind of see that, but on one hand, I'm like, but you are a part of it. Like, here's the thing. Transgender people, non-binary people, and non-binary I actually get, like Sam Smith. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't get the them, they pronouns. I just don't. But I do understand why some may say, listen, I don't identify with what we deem as femininity and masculinity. That makes sense to me. I actually get that. But I think we need to understand that, okay, yes, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Excuse me. You don't identify, you don't relate. That's fine. But don't sit up here and spit in the face in the community that accepts you. You know what I mean? That embraces you, that when something happens to one of your own, we are the first ones to help you. Like, don't do that. And don't feel as if that you're better, because you're not. None of us are better than each other. We're all in this together. We may be different, like our communities may be different, and certain aspects of our communities and what we do may be different, but ultimately we're all in this together. And that's why I don't understand why people are coming to Flame Monroe or coming for her in that, because it's like what she told was just truth. That's all. And it was her truth. And it was his truth, her truth. She has the right, we has the right, honey, to say what they think, just like me. You don't have to agree with me, and that's fine. But I'm telling my truth. I'm telling what I feel, And yes, it's an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. I also feel like even with the whole, because I know, people don't like RuPaul because he won't let transgender people compete in Drag Race. I think with that, I honestly think with that, I think he should let, and I'm just gonna be honest, I think he should let transgender women compete. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if it wasn't for the transgender community, you would not have a ballroom scene. You just wouldn't. And I think the carbon copy of, you got to look ultra feminine, ultra fish. It's like, but that's one kind of drag aesthetic. Not all drag queens do that. Some drag queens do androgyny. Some drag queens do club kids. Some drag queens do. Some drag queens do. What am I trying to say? You have bio queens. Some you have drag kings. It's like, so my thing is, I think in that, like, I think when it comes to drag, because drag is a form of entertainment, I think drag should be all inclusive. I do. I think you should include, everybody, because let's be real, the one thing we hear all the time, representation matters. So I think in terms of drag, in terms of entertainment, yes, you do need that. But even in terms of, even when you have panel discussions, you need people who are trans, you need people who are gay, you need people who are Black, who are disabled, who are, lesbian. You need them all. You do. You need all of them, because they all represent a certain walk of life that maybe some of us may relate to, but a lot of us don't. Like, for me as a gay Black man, I can't relate to a transgender woman. I can be like, well, we're in the gay community, or we're in the rainbow community, but my walk and your walk are different. So I can't relate to you in what you've been through. Just like you can't relate to me. You probably could relate to me in the sense of, and I'm saying it more so for transgender women, because I can, and I'm just gonna be honest, I can see that being kind of, that's easier for me to well, no, I mean, even for a transgender man, I can't relate to that either, because I don't know what it is to be a woman, to wake up being a woman and then say, be born as a woman, but then identify as a man. Like, I don't know what that is. I know what it is to be feminine. I know what it is to be flamboyant, but I don't know what it is to say, you know what, I think I'm going to transition from one gender to the next. So, or somewhere in between. So even in that, and even with being non-binary, I don't understand that either. But that's why you need people. You need their voices. All this divisiveness is not good. And the one thing that I do wholeheartedly agree with Flame on too, one of the other things that I agree with is, we as a gay community, we're fighting about the wrong shit. We do. We fight about the wrong stuff. We need to learn how to pick our battles. We really do. Because, Suki, I think his name is Saucy. Saucy Santana. There we go. I was about to say Suki. Saucy Santana. I mean, no, 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 no. Okay, I'm not saying you didn't have the right to go into a straight club. You did, because as we know, I think he ended up getting shot or something. And I feel bad that they shot him. But you went in there talking trash. You went like, come on now. And he told you, listen, we know what you're about, but can you tone it down? Now, and I'm gonna say this too from my own experience. I have a barbershop that I used to frequent, that I used to go to, I used to patronize. And my barber basically was like, listen, he was like, I can't cut your hair anymore. And I was like, why? And he said, well, the comments you make are inappropriate and they make me feel uncomfortable. Now, mind you, he didn't tell me what the comments were, but I apologized, because I said, you know what? I want to go ahead and smooth this out. But I'm like, it's not like I'm going in here saying, ooh, you got a big old dick. I'm not doing any of that. That ain't me. I'll flirt with you all day, but I will never be inappropriate in my mind. But this was a very heteronormative place. And I'm just like, for real, y'all, like, you can talk about women. And that's the one thing we need to discuss too. We need to sit up here and talk about the battles that we need to fight. We need to fight battles when it comes to things like housing, healthcare. What's another one? Patronizing, like, businesses, owning a business, operating a business, and things, and even with the whole Saucy Santana situation, I'm not agreeing with what they did, but the way he went about it, he could have went about it differently. I'm not saying you need to shut the job. No, ma'am. Do you? But don't, what am I trying to say? If a person says stop, you stop. Period. And that's even in gay clubs. If the manager of the gay club is like, listen, we don't want that kind of dance or that kind of thing, that rhetoric here. Can you tone it down? And you continue to do it anyway just to push buttons and make people uncomfortable. You can't get upset when people retaliate. That's just me. So, but in my experience, I looked at it and was like, wait a minute. So I can come here and get my hair cut. I'm hearing y'all talk about women like dogs. Talking about how good they coochie is, and well, coochie is a tame word I'm gonna use, and and this and that and that and this. But if I say that a man is cute, I'm wrong. No, you're just uncomfortable. You want me to be seen but not heard. That's not gonna work. Now, mind you, I'm not gonna come in there and be like, "Woo, you fine, boo." No, but I am gonna mention to you, I think you're attractive, but I will never be, grossly inappropriate. Okay, but I learned from that certain things you can't, not saying that you shouldn't, how do I put it, there's no point in arguing with the fool, period, because in my experience with him, I was like, wait, you being silly, that's a double standard. We're not doing that. We're both adults, we're both men, you know what I mean? And you could have came to me like a genuine person and say, listen, the comments you make, and then give me examples of said comments which he did not do. And then allow me to make the decision to continue to patronize you or not. But he didn't do that. So I made the decision for him. I said, no, if I can't be my genuine, transparent self, because I've worked hard, and I'm still working hard on being genuine and transparent with me. If I can't be that, then I'm not welcome. You don't deserve my money. You know what I mean? And I realized that it's like, that's the things that we have to fight for. If you just don't like me because I'm being me, then I don't need to, you don't want my business. But then he had the nerve to say, well, I can cut your hair next week. No, you can't. You're no longer cut my hair. You can't. I'm not, no. You'll take my money, but I can't be myself. No, we're not gonna do that. And then another thing that I think we need to discuss, and then I'll be done, is we need to talk about the whole gay for pay. How we sit up here and some of us, not all, and I've done this too, so, before y'all come for me, I've done it too. We salivate over people who are straight acting or who are gay for pay. But then with our own people, oh, that's a queen. Okay, wait a minute. So you basically want hypermasculinity. And then let's reverse it. If it's somebody who's too feminine, you want them to be completely submissive to you. Whatever kind of music you like. Listen, we all have feminine and masculine energies within us, myself included. Like I often tell men that I may choose to lay with. If I submit to you, I'm submitting to you because I want to, not because I have to. I'm not doing this for you. When I submit to you, I'm choosing to do that. That's permission. Okay? So we need to discuss that too. We have to discuss why there's a discrimination against sexual positions. But let us meet a big dick top. And we just, or let us meet somebody who's verse, but a bottom. Bottoms. No, stop that. Like, what the fuck? We're all like, listen, it's like I tell people, like I said this morning on Twitter, it's like the sun and moon. They're different as all get out, but you need them. The moon controls the tides. The sun helps the earth grow. You need both. Period. They provide light, but just in different ways. So these are the things that we need to discuss, not whether or not Flame Monroe is problematic. We need to discuss things like mental health, family issues, emotional issues, housing, healthcare, sexual health, because that's another thing too I noticed. If I bring up to a man that I may have sex with, that I'm like, listen, are you cool with using condoms? I get a flat line. But let them know that I'm on prep. Oh, well, no. If we can sit up here and talk about you digging me out, then why don't we talk about condoms? Why don't we talk about status? Why don't we talk about being drug and disease free? Why don't we talk about alcoholism, chemical dependency? Those are the things, those are the battles. Because trust me, this administration that we're under now, they're gearing up to do a lot of crazy shit. Trust, especially if he loses. Don't think he ain't gonna do a lot of crazy shit before he leaves. So that's all I wanted to say on that. I know this was long. I know I ranted in some areas, but I really wanted to talk about this and just get a lot of this off my chest. This has actually been on me for a minute. And shout out to Miss Flame Monroe, Mr. and Mrs. Flame Monroe, aka Marcus Parker, aka Kishi Wee. I live for you. I live for your truth, your honesty. I think you are very funny. You are someone that I could definitely see myself having coffee with or having tea with and us talking and having a real conversation. I think that what you're doing for the GLBT community and just in general is wonderful and it's groundbreaking. And I'm proud of you for breaking the glass ceiling for so many, not just for comedians, but for a lot of people. And yes, it's, you're pissing people off, but I think if you don't piss people off, you ain't doing it right. And it's like that saying that Pharrell Williams has said, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. With that being said, I'm Leo Brown, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. Be nice. I do read the comments, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, for sharing. Make sure to hit the notification bell, and we'll talk soon. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye-bye.